What's going on, my good people? We are back, man. It is good to be back, and I feel like we're coming back in a very impactful and major way. My good people, I have the privilege of having a great man on the call, on the line right now. And what we're going to do is just go over a couple quick hitters. But Troy, talk to me about who we got on the phone, man.
Ah man, I call him the general, but introduce yourself so the people know we talking to pops.
Oh, this is John Mays Jr., proud dad of Troy and Hendricks,
Oh,
you
for
know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Uh,
Uh, just always living vicariously through you guys and just proud of what you guys have been accomplished so far in your life, man. I'm just a proud dad, dude.
and those are big words and great words to hear.
Yeah, so
Great
like
words.
we had took a break from doing the pod for a while, and
Yeah.
we just wanted to get back into it. So like, we're not gonna be going on too long. We just wanted to recap the weekend, and one of the first things to talk about is hard not to, because the guys becoming what they call it the almost the pantheon, the sports conversation. What do you think about Coach Prom and what he got doing in Colorado? The stars is def coming out. The haters is coming out too. He keep addressing them, but just what do you think about these past 2 weeks? What you seen and what you seen overall, pops?
Well, number one, shoot, for a son to be playing for his father, dude. I mean, that just speaks volumes for itself. But Coach Prime is definitely he's taken over the sport, and in a lot of ways, coaches wish they could. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He got the hip hop groove going on. He got quality players. Coach Prime about from what Stephen A. was saying when he talked to him about 6 players away, and you could see it on the line. If his sons come back next year for another year, I think he gonna take the. I think he gonna take over. Take over really. He gonna be on the map to be playing for the college championship next year, because he got some studs coming over there. Uh, why wouldn't you want to play for Coach Prime when all these other guys been getting monies for years? You know what I'm saying? Plus, the Prime effect is real, man. He brought $18 million to that college in one weekend.
Now,
You know what I'm saying? So the money is there. And if you NIL guy, you a top notch guy, why wouldn't you want to go play for Coach Prime?
but yeah, pops. Just to interject real quick. I am one of the Colorado bandwagoners, if that's what you call it. Of course, I'm a fan of Prime like we all are, and I'm a I'm a fan of Black. I say unapologetically, and I think the masses, um, are pulling for him. For and that being one of the reasons, but of course, being a hopeful at first, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking we're gonna beat Oregon, and they got blitzed by Oregon. Now they played USC well, but I'm just being objective here. They played USC well, but they were down 34-7. Caleb at one point was 16 for 19 for 240 with five. I mean, with
Yeah, 6 touchdowns to 3 quarters. That's
Hmm.
crazy.
he was literally, this guy's literally playing out his mind. But that's what he's gonna do. But so the team was getting beat, pretty bad, and they make a game of it. They're 3-2 right now. They are going to be. They're going to have to play a tough UCLA team. Still got to play Oregon State. They still have to play Utah. They still got to play Washington State.
Mm,
Where do you see them right now being
mm.
5-2?
They're 3-2.
I mean 3-2 out of 5 games. Where do you see them finishing for the season? What's a good projection for them?
If he can amass 6 wins, get to a bowl game, maybe seven,
Yeah.
I think that'll be a great season for him and for the Colorado fan base, since they've been losing for so long. Uh, but anything higher than that is some heavy hitters out there in Pac-12, and they about to break up the conference. So I mean, you got Utah, you got Oregon, you got USC, Washington, who I really think is the sleeper in the whole conference, who should probably win it all because they got majority of their games at home this year as when they was on, as opposed to being on the road last year. So
And they beat
if they
Oregon
can
last
amass
year.
6 wins, I think that they will. I think that would be a good season for him. Uh, let him know what he needs to compete at a higher level. You know what I'm saying? But for one season and to bring all his boys from Jackson State, he definitely changed the culture in football, and people going to be looking at his blueprint going forward when they start taking jobs. It's a similar situation to the USC when the coach went over there and took his quarterback with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
it's
if
exactly
you
what he
kind of
did.
look at it, that's exactly what he did. He took his star quarterback with him to his new job,
Yeah, he was.
and it's panned out pretty well for him. They almost remind me of Oklahoma. That's yet to be seen, but I just don't think USC got the defense to handle Washington or Oregon. It, but
Mm.
this college football, you never know.
And just to interject right quick, like when people were looking at the first season, not too many coaches are doing what Lincoln Riley did last year,
Yeah.
going to a BCS bowl, get into like a conference championship. To put it in perspective, Nick Saban went 7-6 his first year at Alabama. And then
Right.
his next
Mm.
year, they lost to what was it? They ended up losing to Florida in the SEC championship. That was one loss, but he had to lay his foundation. So Prime, as long as they're out there looking credible, I think yesterday was the best scenario that could happen outside of winning. You go out there and get housed and lose again and look like you don't belong out there.
That would have been a problem.
People are questioning
Yeah,
now, looking at you like you're not credible. Are you a fluke?
This is
Did
just for clicks at this point.
because then they're gonna start saying, you know what? Oh, well,
Y'all
we
not
got
trying to
film
win.
on you. We got film on y'all. Y'all just want to be in the
mm.
media.
Yeah.
No, so the fact that the football product is also matching the hype is good. And then for perspective, what people don't know, he also had two of his big recruits play well yesterday. And Prom kind of remind me of you. He old school because people was like, why they haven't been playing? And he said they don't practice well. He said, I don't care who you are, I'm not changing. If you don't practice well, I'm not playing you.
Wow.
He said, I just put him in yesterday because we was just looking for someone to fight. So the fact that his two recruits responded, and that also lets you know that people buy in when you stick to your guns, and then they go out and perform. Now they're gonna want to go to class. Now they're gonna want to engage in film sessions. So I think that's one of the dope things to look at him is they get caught up with the glitz and glamour, don't realize he's very disciplined.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like raising these guys like he raised his children, and a wise man told him you just can't debate no. He's not accepting anything less than excellence and discipline and accountability.
So,
The
Pops,
standards are the standards.
standard is the standard. Pops, the question I'll ask you, and then we'll move on to another topic that transpired over the weekend. How many years do you think he's away from being able to beat Nick Saban? Realistically.
I believe if he get the beef that he's supposed to get up front on the O line and the D line, because he needs some. He got to get some big boys up
That's the
there
difference.
to compete with the big
That's the
schools.
difference.
Yeah.
But if he can get those boys within there and they can gel, because it's easy to put guys together, but as an offensive and a defensive line, we know from experience you got to have cohesiveness on that line. You know what I'm saying? If y'all not playing together, shoot, you just got a bunch of 5-star guys out there doing their own thing. A line have to move, they have to rotate uh, 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 in certain ways. So
That's the difference. The depth.
I believe, with that being said, that if he can get that, he will make some noise. Especially they putting in a new 8-man format next year. He might be able to sneak in there if he keep his boys coming back. If all his both his sons come back and the recruit that got his liver lacerated.
Well,
Yeah, they
he
got
has to come
Travis.
back.
Yeah, they got Travis coming back. Definitely it looks like he's gonna have he said out his mouth both his sons coming back regardless.
Shador gonna have to come back just to really solidify that draft stock.
Not really, because right now they're having him as the second rated pick.
Wow.
He'd be a first round. He's a top 10 pick right now if he leaves. But
Wow.
next year they're projecting him as the number 1 pick.
That's the number
So
one pick.
he
Yeah.
may come back for
So,
that, and he can make another 10 million in NIL at the minimum. So
Wow.
at the minimum,
Well, yeah. I guess who's Bazak back
and they're
on
going
the
to
right,
the
block
Big
right.
12 as
again.
well. So they'll be going to a big conference. I mean, another conference. You got Texas and Oklahoma leaving. They may be the favorites going for the Big 12 going into next year. Looking at how this portal and recruiting class finish up.
Yeah.
It
It'll
was a
be the
big weekend
Mm.
for recruits for them. Actually, 3 of the top players from Michigan was there in attendance. He already has one from West
got the
Bloomfield,
quarterback
4-star.
from Belleville, right?
He was at the game, but he hasn't
Yeah.
announced yet. So good
Oh
thing with
wow.
Prime. But to move on, big weekend for the NBA. We see Dame is going to Milwaukee, and then Boston didn't waste no time in getting Drew Holiday. So how
That
you
was
Oh
feeling about
wow.
that turnaround was
yeah
ridiculous.
yeah and
Wow. I didn't know that they had Dame. Actually, I heard about the Dame deal, but I didn't know Drew
They got
went to
Drew
Boston.
yesterday.
yeah, and then
Oh man.
yeah. So this is just to set the table for you, so we can give you your thoughts very quick. Uh, Dame came out and put a list out and was trying to force his way to Miami, and Portland was just pretty much like, we're not going to accept. We're going to take the best offer from you. I mean, for you. So Miami was just pretty
Mm-hmm.
much offering like a Lowry expiring, Tyler Hero, some first round picks, and Duncan Robinson. And Portland was like, no, we're not doing that. Expand your list or whatever. And so then Dame actually was trying to rescind his offer, and the GM came and was like, "There's no turning back now. Like, you're getting traded. You will not be playing for us again."
Wow.
So they actually did do him a solid though. They moved him to Milwaukee, and actually it was a win-win for him. He gets to play with Giannis. He's on a contender. He wants to be able to win, and then the franchise did themselves right too in getting them assets. So
Yeah.
not only did they get DeAndre Ayton, they also got Robert Williams now in this Drew Holiday trade, and they picked up Malcolm Brogdon, and they're looking to flip him as well for more
Robert
assets.
Williams. So they got the center.
Yeah, they got the center. They got Robert
Oh
Williams,
Oh
wow.
wow.
and they got a Golden State first round pick for 2024, and then first round picks from the Celtics. So they picked up 3 first round picks in that Drew Holiday
I
trade,
mean, well, the Celtics
and
picks
Robert Williams.
the Celtics first round picks ain't gonna be nothing.
Well, in 2029, we don't even know
Oh, in
if
2029, yeah.
yeah, that's around the timeline where
Mm.
you expect your young players to be ascending,
Right.
and then at that
You
time,
a piece
Boston
away.
players should be
Well,
probably on their way down. But just quickly hearing that, what are you thinking about just the outlook of the NBA as far as the pecking order of those trades setting up the league?
who you got winning it, Pops?
Well, I hear people jumping on the Milwaukee Dane trade and saying that they the favorites now. But the favorites to me is still Denver until
Yeah.
you can knock off the champs and the firepower that they bring. And Jokic he different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Him and the Greek Freak could cancel each other out. Then now you got Dame going against Jamal Murray, but I think they got a little more firepower as
Then
far
you
as
got
the
Michael
bench, and then they
Porter,
got
Yeah.
then they got the other dude that used to dunk over there in
Aaron
Orlando.
Gordon,
I forget his.
Aaron
Yeah,
Gordon.
yeah. So they said
And
they
still
got a
got
lot of
Caldwell Pope
firepower over there.
Oh
and
Got
yeah,
Caldwell
continuity.
Pope. I
And they
don't know
got
if they still
continuity.
got the dude that from Brown. Isn't
that's
it
tough.
Brown that
No,
came?
they lost him.
He got
He
that
went to
bag.
Indiana.
2 years, $45 million to Indiana.
And he got that bid ag.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
So he
yeah.
got paid, but
But I
they
just don't
good.
think that do do they got the firepower if they can stay healthy? If him and Giannis jail with the pick and roll, I ain't
Of
really
course.
seen Giannis in the pick and roll
Me neither.
Hey,
running
that's a great
smooth.
point. That is a great point to pick up,
People keep talking
Coach.
about are they gonna do it in the pick and roll? But I've never seen Giannis really run the pick and roll smooth. Like it was a Steph Curry out there.
Yeah.
I ain't seen Dame really run it because to me, Dame is the type of player that can give you 50. And it ain't a lot of pick and roll when the guy dropping 50 on you. He hitting from
Nah,
everywhere.
yeah, he just shooting, and I think like that's gonna be the adjustment people need to think about. Because let's be real, like even when the Warriors had Steph and KD, you would think they would run pick and roll with those two, and they never did it. So you really have to look at like, of course, these are two superstars. They're going to find a way to mesh, but to just assume that now Giannis is going to be setting picks and dive into the rim, there are still type spots on the floor that he likes to operate
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody
as
got
sure
their
as
yeah.
Dame. And the same with Dame is
Everybody pick
like
their
not
spots.
everyone is Steph. Like sometimes like I think guys assume that because people can shoot far and can get hot like Trey and Dame that they think they're gonna be like now just moving off ball like Steph. No. The same with Dames. When he moves the ball, he's not moving. He's also just staying in one spot too. So you have to also look at how that's going to affect your offense. Now, what Dame does help them with is he's a big shot maker and a tough shot maker.
Right.
And when
Right.
he's hot,
Close. He can
you
close.
yes. Now instead of Giannis running away from the ball in the clutch, you do have a guy that wants to take those shots
Exactly.
and has
Exactly.
made those shots. So it's really
And
going to
Giannis
come
can
down.
clean up at that time.
Yes,
And
yeah,
this is you know why I lean more so with Milwaukee because you have somebody that once you give him help, he shows that if you get him there, he'll seal the deal. Giannis put up 50, 14, and 6 just to secure, you know what I'm saying, that finals victory. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he did that with Drew Holiday and of course Chris Middleton. They were able to still keep Chris Middleton and now he got Dame that's gonna be with him. So now we just know that he has the help that he really needs.
to wrap it up though, only thing is just be wary of Middleton. He hasn't really been healthy since that playoff run.
Yeah,
People forget he
And
averaged
also,
24, 6, and 5 in that finals. So it wasn't like Giannis
wow,
was by himself. Middleton did average 24 points in that final.
and Middleton shots are gonna go down now to Dame over there.
He
oh
should
yeah,
get better looks. So like I said,
for
he's going to
sure,
have to be healthy because only reason
absolutely, he's
why I've
gonna
been
get better
telling people
looks.
is I watched KD and Booker go crazy in the playoffs, and it still wasn't enough. You're
Yeah,
still going to need that continuity and a team now. That days of just we got the two best players, let's go out and win. Nah, you got to really go out and win these games. A lot of people are
Yeah.
stacked. This is probably maybe the most parity maybe the league has seen maybe since the 80s when
Because the
you
Lakers are gonna come back strong.
yeah, they're going to be
yeah.
You
strong.
know,
The Warriors are
Miami. You
still
can't
there.
you can't count Miami out
The
Nah,
Warriors are gonna
because
be
Butler
there.
Butler plays different in
he's tough.
around playoff time.
Yeah.
Jimmy buckets. He shows up consistently during playoff time. So uh and Drew Holiday is gonna want to pick up Dame full court.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, with
You
Boston
know what I'm
putting
saying?
him
He gonna
with
be like, y'all
those
let me
two.
go for him. So you trading offense for defense. Defense won championships, but Dame gonna drop 50 in a 7 game series, one game.
for sure.
And it could be in game 7. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, him and
Dame
Giannis has to
definitely
go out there
got
and put up
50 in
100
him.
Well, if they do run into Boston though, Dame does owe Drew because Drew shut him down in that 2018 playoffs. I know this is not
Mm.
2018 that was
Yeah,
going on. It'll be 6 years ago for this season.
and this is a
But
hungry Dame. Not to say that he isn't hungry, but this is a this is a Dame that's in the prime of his career. He's always preached about loyalty. You got traded then, bro. They did you a solid. You did it your way. Now
Right.
it's no excuses at this point.
yeah, as a
I
player,
feel
you
like
want a shot.
we could
You
take
want.
him out the top 75 if he don't get one at this point.
I would say that. I
I
think.
know we can't, but I would. I, I feel like where he's at and at this spot at this time of his career, this is the best opportunity he's ever had.
Isn't and I'll
Oh,
put a
definitely.
bow on
And
this.
he playing with a
Yeah.
solid dog in Giannis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll put a bow on the conversation, but it's really no different than what Chris Paul did. Was it 2 years ago, going on 3 years ago? It was late in his career. He just wanted a chance to compete. He got to the finals. Nah, he didn't go through. He didn't seal the deal.
Yeah.
But you want to be playing competitive basketball this late in your
Yeah,
career.
at this late in your
Yeah,
career,
you don't
and
want to
he's
just be
been.
wasting that.
You want the
I got a
opportunity.
I got a quick question to you guys. Seeing all the me being the Golden State Warrior fan that I am, and seeing all the moves that's been taking place in the league, what do you guys see as Golden State's uh, missing piece to be in the top four again? Because right now I got them outside of Denver, LA for sure, and really with the up and coming young Kings getting stronger and getting more experience. I kind of got them like at around the Memphis area. You know what I'm saying? So I got Denver, LA, then you talking about Memphis and the Kings, and then you might funnel in uh Golden State. But in my eyes, the old team is kind of dying down because it's like Clay ain't the same Clay he was. We lacking a big man. What's you guys take on that?
I think for the Warriors, what they're really trying to replace is they're trying to replace Jordan Poole from 2 years ago. That Jordan Poole, I think, was the main reason why they were able to be as dynamic as they were because you know Clay was able to really recuperate and really get back into the flow because they had three dynamic scorers. Now this year he played very inconsistent, and I mean of course, was just used for his trade value, but they have to field that a third scorer option, and he has to be a ball handler with length and is also athletic. So, out of what is out there that would that I would choose, I don't. I'll have to defer to Troy as far as who in the league could replace that role. Maybe I would say, is it time for them to possibly look at what about D'Angelo Russell, running back with him possibly?
What I would tell people is like, I think what some people forget, last year was just really the season from hell. You look at it, it
Mm,
starts with Draymond's punch. And then on
Right.
top of that, they were just never healthy. Now look, it happens. The Lakers wasn't healthy. They got
right.
healthy and they went on a run. But if you look at the Warriors, they had stretches of missing Steph. Then when Steph is on
And
his way of
Wiggins.
coming back, Wiggins has got injured. Then he went on his family leave. So
Right.
no continuity. And if people kind of forget this, they had the best 5 man unit. Their 5 man unit was like literally, part of my language, beating the shit out of teams by like 12 to 20 points. The problem is when the bench came in, those leads were
Right.
lost.
Yeah,
So
Right.
they were expecting those young guys to make that leap and they didn't.
Kaminga didn't.
So this year though, they've been praising it. I think they're just gonna run it back. Them running it back gets them uh I would feel they're a contender in the West still. I think you're crazy to write
They
off
should make
Steph.
it to they could make it to the top four.
I
You
think they
know.
should, but it really comes down to, can that bench just, you don't want Steph working so hard. He can't come in, leave, it's a 10-point lead, then come back, he's down 10.
Right.
And you
Right.
was watching that
Right.
even in the
That's crazy.
Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
He can't
That's
always
crazy.
keep playing from behind. And then they got to keep going pick and roll with him. I think what people tend to also forget is how good Wiggins was during that playoff run in 2022
Yeah.
and the finals. If that
And
guy
man,
is
he was
back,
arguably the best
yeah,
player on the floor.
yeah. So if he's back with Kaminga taking
He was a
a
great
step
offensive
forward,
rebounder.
yeah,
Uh,
with
that during
Moses
that run.
Moody doing what he's doing,
Yeah.
and then Chris Paul, you just need him healthy and just need him to just settle down that second unit. Do I
Yeah.
think they're better than Denver and LA? Probably not, but
But they could,
I'll take my chances
and,
with Steph in any series.
and they'll be competitive. It'll be competitive either way with Steph
Yeah,
on the floor.
yeah.
It's
My
not gonna be
biggest
a
thing
walk.
is
A
that their
walk.
interior position has been, in my eyes, has been like their Achilles heel for the last couple of years. Because when they go match up with like a Jokic or a AD, that's when they really get exposed. Because Looney is not the answer for AD or Jokic. You know
Go
what I'm
get
saying?
DeMarcus Cousins, man. He
I
can't
think
play.
they're
I
just
mean,
stubborn.
I
Yeah.
mean, DeMarcus could be old as heck. You know, I don't know if he even still staying in shape like that. But
Man, he's still
they
playing. Go
need
get
something
DeMarcus.
that can clog up that middle a little bit because AD is just too much for Draymond
They
Green and Looney.
some reason they don't want to play that way
Yeah.
because I think even when they asked Kerr, he was like, you got to think they had Wiseman and couldn't use him. Not saying that's the best example, but they're like, we're not just going to get a guy because he's 7 foot. They're like, they have a way that they want to play, and certain people has to fit that role, and that just came
Mm,
from Kerr's mouth. So if he's stubborn and going to go down on his shield and with his way, I get it. He's going to say, I won 4 championships this way. And then he said, if you look at it last year, they really, it's 2 bad games versus LA that they let slip. But
I
all
can
they
see
did
him
was
being
put
nimble.
Anthony Davis in pick and roll, and they still got good shots against him. Their problem is
Mhm.
Clay didn't hit any shots. He had one good game, and he missed multiple open shots in
Yeah,
that series.
Stephen A was ranting about
Yeah,
Clay. He was like, "You got to show up, bro."
you can't have Curry getting double, and your job is to make shots, and you wide open. Clay really sold the bag. So
Mm,
I think they're still. What I'm saying is, even though LA had that advantage, listening to how the team is talking this offseason, there's a lot of shots back from that series that they wanted, that they want back, and they feel like they just a little bit away from getting there. And Wiggins too is injured at the end of that series as well. He had like a cartilage or some issue going on in Game 6.
Hey, Pops,
mm,
we'll move on to one more sport and then we'll get up out of here. Just real quick.
okay.
For the NFL, uh, I haven't really perused in it too much this year. I know the usual suspects are still pretty much the contenders at this point. You got Philly and the Chiefs still doing their thing, but what have you seen? What have you seen from this small sample size? What team are you rolling with? And are you still how you feel about your Dolphins since they just got smacked on today?
After they got the smackdown on them.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the question, man. How you feel
it
about your Dolphins, man? Going from sugar to shit, pops. Let's ask the question.
They
I
was due
really
for
want to
that's the
one.
ask you,
real
man.
question.
They was due
Yeah,
for one.
What happened to my track stars today?
yeah, man.
Well,
Blew a wheel.
the number one thing is that I learned today is if you got dog linebackers and they don't even got Vaughn, but if you got dog linebackers, you can cover 20 to 30 yards of the middle of the field out cold.
Mm.
And I was watching the scheme of the defensive coordinator sure that he had the two safeties over the top and he would drop them down in the middle, but his linebackers could also drop back like 15 yards or they could go across 15 yards pretty fast. So they was closing those windows down on us. But right now, to answer your question, I'm gonna always roll with San Francisco. I like what they got going over there. Brock Purdy is looking really purdy over there. I'm a roll with my frat brother, Jalen Hurts. I love his comments. He said, they was like, what
Root to the
fuels you? He was
Q's.
like, losing. That simple. He was like, what fuels you to do this, and losing. That's what fuels me.
But also, I think too, with the Bills winning the way they did, like people, I think they making that statement. Don't forget about us. And a lot of it, what it comes down to them is going to be Josh Allen.
Yeah.
If he's taking
Oh,
care of the
definitely,
ball,
definitely. If he can take care of the ball,
take
and
care of
ever
the
since
ball.
week one,
Yes,
he has been
yes.
the best quarterback interception to turnover ratio in the league outside of Tua, and he overtook him today.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's
So it was like the number one and two offenses have went up against each other today, and they was like, now we're number one. But
ironically the
I
teams you
like
mentioned. Yeah.
I like for sure it's going to come down to Philip. I hope them Lions get in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm
They
kind of
looking really
creeping back
good.
on the Lions. I already
Wow,
talked to one of my
it's crazy to really be able to say that in my lifetime. The
No,
Lions
it
are
yeah,
looking
is.
good,
I've been skeptical.
and
I
I'm
think
hearing rumors that they might get Devontae Adams. It's just trade rumors.
a lot of people been drinking the Kool
wow,
Aid. I've been watching
That
for
would be
so long,
insane.
so I want to just see them really go out and just finish because they're getting these expectations. But what I can say is Campbell has them playing well,
And
and
I'm
right.
that offensive
He's done.
coordinator, man, he just seems to make the right play call every time, man.
and I'm not a Lions fan, but I have to. And
Yeah, I'm not
I,
a fan either. I'm just giving them their
and it's
props.
crazy for but that's exactly what it is. I just have to give them their just due at this point. Now I have seen them go 6-2 and still not make the playoffs, so I'm hoping that we don't get that. I'm not trying to put any weird juju out there, but
Right.
this Lions team, they are the attitude is different for sure.
What will also help them too is, and this is not to pour salt on it, but that division is terrible.
Yeah,
That is a terrible division. Like
Kirk
they damn
Cousins,
near
man.
It
you're
is.
guaranteed
It is.
four
You like
wins
that?
Right.
with the
Right.
With the
with the Bears and Packers off
I'm
rip.
almost 8 if you playing them twice.
Yeah. And the way Minnesota plays, you may be able to beat them twice too. They may
man,
sweep that division. That's
Right.
6 wins right
Right.
there. And if you win your division, you automatically in anyway.
yeah.
So you do take care of that. Now you're just looking at, all right,
Right. Can
what are
you
we
go on the
doing?
road? Can you win
Yeah.
one home playoff game and can you go on the road and hold
Right.
up? Can you
Or
take your
possibly can
traveling
we
team
get
on the
two?
road?
Now I don't know how they're gonna I don't see how they stack up with San Francisco and
It's probably gonna
Philly.
come down to Dallas, Philly,
Yeah.
San Francisco, and Detroit,
They
pretty
possibly
much.
can beat Dallas though. You want to look at possibly
Right.
avoiding
Having to play
yeah,
the Eagles and San Francisco.
So you
yeah,
got
If you
San
could just have to
Francisco.
play one of them,
yeah.
you looking pretty good. But on the other side of there,
Yep.
you the Chiefs gonna be there. Uh, Jackson is probably gonna be there. Um, being healthy and having his team around him, he's probably gonna be there because he could change the game by himself. Uh, I think Joe Burrow and them gonna take a step back this year for whatever reason, and then it's gonna come down to Buffalo and Miami and those guys. You know what I'm saying? But right now, Buffalo looks solid. I mean, I love my Dolphins. I already talked to some cats out in Vegas, so if the Dolphins or Detroit make it, uh, we going down there. The family going down there because Mike McCann he lives down in Vegas, so we going down there. So, uh, but yeah, it's wide open. But I always lean back in my history of this with the teams that was in the Final Four the previous year. So you're gonna have your Philadelphia, you're gonna have your San Francisco, you're gonna have your KC, and you're gonna have Buffalo. Or unless Miami can break that code with one of them. But it's gonna boil down to those teams. And
How you feel about Denver, pops?
Denver scared the heck out of me today, man. I
Oh
had
man,
Denver on
they had me
I
nervous
had
too.
Denver, I had Denver on the bet thing today, and they was down 21, and I really wanted to just go stick my head in the hole, and then I was like, "This is
Man,
NFL. Anything can
Denver,
happen,
Man,
man." And they
Denver,
they
the
came
Rams,
storming
and
back.
the
I was like, "Are
Eagles.
you?" Yeah,
Those
yeah,
three
man.
teams. I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? Because like the Rams was up like 20-0 or something like that.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is y'all doing? Then with the
man.
overtime.
Right. And they
But
tied it up at 23 all after being down that big. I was like, "Are you
I'm
kidding me?"
I'm not making it
What's up
those
with the
figures.
Texans?
Hey
Is
man.
the coach is really that is he really that deal?
Well,
Hey,
you gotta think he was the 49ers coordinator. And then on top of that, you know, if you can hit on a quarterback, CJ Stroud he's
CJ
looking
Stroud was
very
arguably the best pocket
yeah.
passer that came out. And I was telling people that when they almost knocked off Georgia before my man got hurt.
That was the game that
Before
sold it for me. Bryce was good, but he was always smaller.
yeah,
I'm like, I'll
right.
take the guy that's bigger and accurate. And the way he was picking apart Georgia, shoot, how many of those guys? They didn't had at least 14 first round picks in the last 2 years. So the fact
Wow.
that he was picking them apart, I'm like, go with that guy. And then to get Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud in the same draft, like that can set up your franchise. And we're gonna wrap this up here, but they looking at the standings right now. If it was held served today, the Bears would have the 1 and 2 pick in this draft
That's
because
insane.
they get the Panthers draft pick this year and their own. So they could
Ooh.
possibly pick Caleb and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Man, the
with the first
Bears
with
are
the 1 and 2
ass,
pick.
man. What?
Yeah, I'm like, shoot.
Caleb and Marvin Harrison, that's like Burrow and Chase.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's some crazy things can happen. I don't know if it'll stay that way, but all I've been doing as betting wise, I've been looking at who's going up against the rookies. And it looked like I might have to take CJ Stroud off that list, but the rookies and Justin Fields, I've been betting against them every week. That's
Oh,
the formula for
wow.
me. F those guys.
Wow.
All right,
But
good.
what you've been losing with Stroud.
Yeah. I won't bet against him again. That won't happen. I put
Well,
it
that's
like
not
this.
gonna be a good formula.
No, he wasn't on the money
Yeah.
ticket. He was on the like he definitely wasn't on one of those. CJ Stroud is only
Okay.
getting on them. I'm betting against him on the $5 tickets, not the $40 and $50 ones. So
But
he
yeah, man.
graduated from that.
Number one, I appreciate you guys for letting me on the call, and I was wondering why you guys hadn't been out there, or at least I ain't been on Facebook any, but I know I hadn't heard you guys talk about it. So thanks for letting me be on the show. I sure enjoyed it. Uh, but we got to get down to Vegas, even if neither one of my teams do make it, we need to get down there if we can. It could be a red eye, like a Friday night to Sunday, you know what I'm saying? If you guys could pull off, but we need to make that happen because time waits on no man. And as Trevor would say, he can almost quote this myself, you can meet me at Highland Church of Christ on Sunday.
Oh, for sure.
On Sundays at
My
11
boy.